Jo. Szoke is a freelance teacher trainer, and she's an AI and education specialist, as well as an EFL teacher. She actually mentioned during the panel, she's a teacher trainer that trains people in universities of Hungary, and in a Hungarian university, and on Erasmus program. She's working on a number of things on AI, including a book for a different publisher, so it won't be mentioned, but it's coming out. It's coming out soon. And she is I had the pleasure of her company at a conference very recently. She's a great company and very knowledgeable on AI, and she's here to talk and extend this panel discussion with some collaborative ideas on using AI. So Jo, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you. I'm just going to check my watch. Welcome, everyone. I'm very, very happy to have you here. And we're going to have a very quick look at creative collaboration ideas with AI. So if you were at the panel discussion, I mentioned that I believe in a principled and creative collaborative relationship between humans and AI, and I brought you 5 practical ideas for that. So I'm going to actually start with, I'm going to see if I can open the chat. Yes. So I'm going to ask you a quick question. You can definitely put your ideas in the chat. So you can see this very surprised monkey there. And my question is, what has made you feel this way in life, like this this surprised way? And I've got a couple of options on the slide for you. And personally, I definitely had this experience with all these things. So my first time flying by plane, also when we first bought a front-loading washing machine, I was sitting in front of it like, oh, wow, this is amazing. I also, whenever I get a new gadget or ChatGPT, that these all brought out this reaction from me. The total solar eclipse, I remember, I think I was around 10 and it was an amazing experience. But the question is, would these things continue to make this feeling or evoke this feeling? And I think that the ones that and thank you so much for your ideas in the chat. I can see lots and lots of ChatGPTs in the chat. And flying by plane, I highlighted a couple of these options because I think that if I could see another total solar eclipse, I would feel the same way. But I definitely don't feel the same way about washing machines and flying by plane or even ChatGPT. So what I'd like to point out is that we tend to have this initial excitement when we see something new. Also with new technology, we have the initial excitement, but then it tends to just calm down a little bit as we get more and more used to it and accustomed to it. But that's the question here, whether it has already calmed down or not yet. So can we already talk about this calm coexistence with new technologies such as generative AI or not yet? And I can see that there are still some, and it's not because we're not calm yet, it's because more and more new things come out, more new features, and we're always reevaluating our relationship with AI. So that's still a question mark. But in this talk, I just want to mention some main points. So I'm going to be showing you how AI can help teachers a lot to save time, boost productivity, overcome creative blocks, and discuss ideas, issues, and questions. You must have seen these in various blog posts on the internet. But I want to mention that these can only come true if human and AI work in a collaborative relationship. So if we don't put complete trust in what AI does for us, but we evaluate it and we collaboratively work with it, and then it becomes a collaborative relationship. So I'm going to mention 5 practical ideas. You can see them on the slide. So let's dig in. The first one is designing a lesson. And every time I'm going to mention an idea, I want to show you the two sides of how I designed something. What was the human element in the equation, and what AI did for me. So every case, in each case, there is going to be a scenario. In this case, the scenario is that I had an extremely busy day, last day emergencies, but I had an online business lesson that was about to start in 10 minutes. And I just felt that I need something, but I have nothing. And that was part of the human element. That's the scenario. The human part actually came in when I was trying to figure out what I wanted. So I have an online lesson in 10 minutes. What do I really want? And even in that case, because if you just simply ask AI, okay, plan a lesson for me, it's going to plan something super generic, vague, and not very useful. Because to be honest, you already know, even if you have very little time, you already have an idea because you have taught this group or you have been teaching this group. You know them, you know their past, and you know their progress. So you already have an idea. You just don't have enough time to verbalize it. So I started to think about what I wanted. And actually, my I'm going to show this later. My prompt was give me some conversational lesson ideas, and actually, I got something super vague, not useful at all. But I didn't actually notice it, but I had the idea in my mind already that, you know what, I don't want this. I actually want something like this. So basically my prompt was, I'm just going to check what my actual prompt was. Yes, I just let's ditch the idea that you gave me. Give me or generate 5 interesting business cases when something went wrong and had to be solved. So I use the idea that was given to me as a springboard for something else. And then I came up with the idea, I need 5 of these, give me what I want. And then I just turned that into a Google slide deck. I highlighted the words that were new. I actually, as you can see on the slide, I kept everything as it was. I just highlighted the new words that I thought would probably be hard for my students. I highlighted them, and then I actually added these words back into the chatbot and said, okay, can you design a very quick matching activity for me? And I had my lesson. So the idea here was that I didn't know what I wanted, but I actually already formulated the idea of what I want, and then it all came together because the AI didn't actually design the entire lesson for me. It just gave me the idea, and I used my expertise of being a teacher that, okay, I think I need 5 cases. We're going to discuss what went wrong. I will myself highlight the words that I think will be difficult for my students, and then I'm going to ask AI to give me definitions for those difficult words that I highlighted myself, and then turn that into a matching activity. So it's kind of a 50-50 relationship. Let me show you another one. In this case, it's going to be a slightly similar case, but the scenario is that I need a worksheet, but I don't really have many ideas. It's not entirely important what I need the worksheet for, but I need a worksheet. Perhaps it can be a self-reflection worksheet or a guided discovery worksheet, a grammar worksheet, but some sort of a worksheet that I can then print and give to my students. But I don't really have ideas. And I brought you this illustration of a coin, and it's very similar to the previous idea that it's kind of like there's this idea that as you flip the coin to see which side it's going to land on, you already know what you are wishing for and what you want it to be. So while the coin is flipping in the air, you already made your decision. And even in this case, I think when you're asking AI to give you ideas, the moment you get the idea options, you already know that actually I didn't want this at all. I wanted something completely different. But this extra step is necessary for you to have the initial idea that, you know what, I actually didn't want these, but thank you, AI, for helping me decide that I want something completely different. So that's one part of this human AI collaborative relationship that I want to show you, is that as you're asking for ideas and you're using AI for brainstorming, you're making your decisions in your brain that I think I want something else, but thank you for getting me started. And with the worksheet, I want to show you another thing as well, that, by the way, this design was also generated with the help of AI. I just prompted, you can see in the corner of the slide that it says design created with napkin.ai. It's a infographic or graphic generator. I just explained what I wanted. I want to see 3 chatbots that are combined into one final idea. This is what I got. And I want to use this graphic to show you, or this illustration to show you how I imagine creating a worksheet with the help of AI. Instead of just relying on one model, I prompted 3 different chatbots with the same prompt and looked at their ideas. They have different approaches. We have previously seen that they are trained on different data, they use different models, they use different algorithms. So they might give you slightly different ideas, but you don't have to just pick one and go with that one. That's your human decision. First of all, whether you like any of the ideas. Maybe you say that, no, I don't like any of these. I'm just going to go with my own idea. Or you say, well, you know what? I like the first idea in this chatbot's response, and then I like the second and the third task ideas from this chatbot's response. So you just create a merged version of several different responses, and you create your own final version. And I think that this can then be a final something that is either, and again, there you can make a further step by adding further human elements. So if you just take task 1 from this chatbot, task 2 from that chatbot, it's basically the chatbots that created the worksheet for you. But you can also modify these responses like, I like the idea, but actually I'm going to change the instructions, I'm going to change the words. I like that you gave me this view of it or this approach, but I'm actually going to go with the other approach. It's you that makes these decisions because you are aware of the target group that you're dealing with. But in this idea, I wanted to show you the merger of several generated responses. So as you can see here, you have the ability to keep what you want to keep, modify, add, or delete. To be honest, that's what we do with most teachers' books and course books. We just open several course books and we make our decisions like, I'm going to use this one from this course book and this idea from that course book. It's pretty much the same, but with the help of AI, which is much quicker. Now let's look at another idea here. And in this case, the scenario is something you can see on the screen, that I want something fun. And I already had this and I did these, so these definitely happened. I had the idea that I want to do something fun. I want an escape room. If you have never played an escape room before, an escape room in teaching is something when students have to complete various activities or tasks, and at the end of each task they receive something. They can receive a code, they can receive a little trinket or some kind of a thing that they then have to put together into one thing, so they escape the situation, they escape the room. So it's a combination or a chain of activities, and usually it's something interesting and exciting because there's a background story to it. So it's quite a complex thing, and it's actually very motivating for students, but as you could probably guess from my explanation, it's complicated to create because you have to come up with a lot of task ideas, you have to come up with a background story, you have to make it engaging and colorful and fun. So it's a lot of work. And as you can see, I wanted to do this, but I don't have the time and energy to come up with anything. But I already thought, like, okay, I think I'm going to do some sort of a pirate theme. So let's find a treasure map on the internet. And what I did is that I just Googled treasure map, pirate treasure map or something, and I found an image, which then I downloaded and used in the AI chatbot. That's something to actually pay attention to, like what you download, where you download it from, and where you upload it, because to be honest, I'm not entirely sure if that was yes, that's a difficult question actually, whether like it was a copyright issue or not. But let's say I got it from a stock image website, and then I download the treasure map. Or to be honest, just to play it safe, you can draw your own treasure map. That's the safest you can get. Or as somebody said in the chat box, royalty-free images, but you can draw your own treasure map. You upload that into a chatbot, because you can now upload files into chatbots and say that here, I'm trying to create an escape room for my students. Here's the treasure map I would like you to use. Can you generate 5 activities for the 5 stations on this treasure map? And give me task ideas, give me the background story, and give me the names of these different stations. And that's what you can see on the slide here. That this was the treasure map I found, but you can draw your own. I asked the chatbot to, as you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stations to look at the image and generate the background story for the escape room. I specified who my target group was. These are students of 16 coming back from summer vacation, and I need something fun and exciting. Generate 5 activities, and that's the human element still. I specified what sort of activities I want. So I'm going to read part of the prompt for you. I said, create a very short description of each station, what it is and what they need to achieve. There will be 5 short tasks altogether, each somehow connected to their summer vacations and the approaching school year. 3 tasks should be paper-based, 1 should include some kind of a picture upload function, and 1 should include QR codes. So I specified what I wanted. I just needed some help with coming up with the ideas. And honestly, I wasn't impressed at first. I kept prompting that, actually, I like your first idea, but I don't like the second. Can you create something else? So as we were going along, I kept coming up with my own ideas and how I want to move forward. But as you can see on the slide here, this Welcome Brave Adventurers is the background story that was created by ChatGPT, and I used it as it is because it was pretty good. It was perfect for an introduction to the game, and I didn't really feel that I want to add my human element there. I wanted to be in control in connection with the activities that I wanted to design. So I just managed to speed up my planning process. Let's look at another idea. Okay, so we have seen 3 ideas so far. In this idea, it's basically helping both you and your student come up with some independent learning opportunities. So the human element came from a post by Emily Bryson. I love her work. She's good at graphic facilitation. So she's designing like with visual learning. I follow her on LinkedIn, and she had an interesting idea about word meanings. And it just gave me an idea immediately, like, I can turn this into an independent learning game with the help of AI. Because with AI, you can actually have conversations, although not entirely human conversations, but if you have the idea how you could use it for language learning, you can have a back and forth kind of conversation that has an aim. In this case, the aim was, as you can see, write the meaning of a word and let me guess it. If I don't know it, write an example sentence leaving the word out, which is kind of what teachers do. But in this case, we can also show this to our students, that if they have 5 minutes per day, they can just use this prompt and play a very simple, super free, independent learning game. I just said free because, as we mentioned in the panel discussion, AI is not completely free. We need internet access, we need geographical access, so it's not entirely free. But if you have access to these chatbots, it's a fairly simple way of just coming up with a learning game. And this is what happened. I'm not sure if you can see the conversation very well, but I just entered the prompt and ChatGPT said, or the whatever AI chatbot you choose said, sure, here's the first one. And I got a definition, and I intentionally said, I don't know what the word is, just to see what happens next. And then I got an example sentence. So this is exactly what a teacher would do, but I can just do it on my own. And then it says, can you guess the word now? And then I guessed it, and it said, oh, well done. Here's another one. And this can go on forever. So this is just like helping students see the independent element in using AI for their learning. And the final idea is for us teachers. So the first three ideas were really about materials generation and task creation. The fourth idea was independent learning ideas for our students. And this last fifth idea is for us teachers who would love to discuss ideas with someone. And it's not always easy to get a colleague listen to us. So why shouldn't we just create a built-in assistant with the help of AI? So you can see the human element in this again. Like, I need someone to discuss my ideas with, but nobody's really available. I don't want to bother my colleagues. I don't really want to burden them with my ideas or my problems. I'm just going to use an AI chatbot and talk it out or talk it through. And I just chose this image as an illustration of speaking to a sort of human, but obviously it's not a human. You need to be very careful with this and aware of what you're doing, because an AI chatbot is not really a human. I've seen lots of people, or like lots of posts suggesting that AI chatbots could be the next therapists, and they are just freely available. But it's very important to understand that they are not humans. They are not a real person. However, they can sometimes help just thinking things through. And this idea came from a conversation with a colleague. We send audio messages to each other, and sometimes it's not even necessary. And it's an interesting observation. It's not even necessary for the other to respond, because we use the audio message to just, for example, reflect on a workshop, reflect on a lesson. We're just talking through the entire lesson or outline or plan, and just the ability to vocalize that helps us see it from a different perspective, come to different or various conclusions, replan it if necessary. So if you treat it in this way, that you're just talking to the wall, which can actually respond, then you can use it to help yourself with thinking, but just don't expect something very deep and conversational. So in this session, I shared 5 practical ideas with you. We have seen that how you can use one chatbot for designing a lesson, even if you have no ideas, but while you're generating asking the chatbot to generate the ideas, you have your own. Then we looked at how you can design a worksheet with the help of multiple chatbots, and you decide how you're going to put the tasks together into one worksheet or document. Then we looked at how we can design a complex idea. So, for example, an escape room or a more complex project. For example, you have the idea, but you don't have enough energy to look at or design all the background elements that are actually necessary from a motivational aspect, but you don't have the energy, you don't have the creativity, so you ask a chatbot to help you with that. But you have the other ideas, you know what tasks you want to include. And then the 4th one was kind of helping our learners come up with their own independent learning ideas. We can help with that as well. We can just give them the idea and then they go on and play with the chatbot themselves. And in the 5th case, it was about helping you reflect on certain lessons, plans with the help of a chatbot, vocalizing your ideas. The illusion of speaking to someone will help you see your lesson from a different perspective. But the main point is that all these things that you saw at the beginning of the talk, all these positive aspects of using AI can only work well if you use AI in a principled, conscious way, and you're going to be in charge of making the decisions. And in that way, you can have this fruitful collaborative relationship. So thank you for listening to me. And I don't know if I have. No, that was my final slide. So thank you.
No, thank you, Joe. There you go. Thanks a lot. Our whistle stopped off through some practical stuff from Joe. How good is that? If you want to get the OUP position paper on artificial intelligence, big data, and more humanizing technology, Joe, thank you so much for everything. You must be feeling a little tired now after 90 minutes of AI and with it taxing start to your Thursday, but I'm sure everybody appreciates you. Joe, thank you very much. Please go and unwind, have a coffee, whatever you need to do. Very much appreciate
you so much, Sean.
Joining us today. Thank you so much for being part of ELTOC Chapter 10.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity and all the best.